Hello, I am here to do a Pluto retrograde and Scorpio full moon reading. I'm going to do things a little bit differently. We are going to talk a little bit about what both of these are. If you've watched my daily tarot videos, you would know I've spoken at length about this full moon in Scorpio and the Pluto retrograde. Why did I wait to do these two together? Because technically, yesterday, the 26th, was the full moon. However, the full moon did not reach its peak until almost midnight. So we are really just kind of feeling the peak of the energies of this full moon in Scorpio. And it coincides perfectly with Pluto going retrograde. Now, this is the first retrograde that we've had since the end of February. So if you feel like you are wading through mud or being pulled backwards, there's a reason for it. I just noticed this hair is anyway, we may be feeling a lot of themes or having things surface that was happening in October or late fall of last year, and that is the Pluto retrograde energy. So don't worry about that, but having all of this stuff kind of come up again, if it is for you, that means it is coming up to the surface to be released or healed or both. So a couple quick things linking Scorpio full moon, and apparently this is the only full moon in Scorpio we have this year, so that really heavy, deep emotions that are coming up, that is the Scorpio energy, because Scorpio, its sign is the Scorpion. They hold on to things very deeply. They feel emotions so deep in their chest. And that's why when they love with everything that you've ever felt. They feel with every part of their entire soul. And if those feelings get hurt, they feel it in the very deepest parts of their soul, and it cuts them and hurts them so horribly. So Scorpios, that is your deep feeling energy that is coming out with this full moon. And because this is a super full moon, those energies are being amplified. And when you hear the terms full or super moon, or particularly the full moon, because we don't ever see the new moon, it is a measurable distance closer to Earth. It is, I believe, if it's closer than 265 miles, I believe that's about 350,000 kilometers for whomever uses both. I checked the NASA website, and of course they use the miles because NASA is an American agency. So when the moon is any closer than that, it is considered to be a super moon. And we feel its energies just that much more. Now, here's where Pluto and Scorpio is linked. The planet Pluto, planet of the underworld, rules Scorpio. Pluto. So a couple quick interesting facts. Discovered in 1930 in England, was named by a little girl. Her name is somewhere in my notes and files, but she's the one who named the planet. And the planet was discovered just a few months before Disney released its Pluto character. And for those of you not familiar with the Disney character, it's a dog. And so they both have been around for the same amount of time. Now, the discovery of Pluto, the planet, was, of course, the most recent one in our solar system, and it loses its designation every now and then as an actual planet. There's been times it's been considered an asteroid. There's been times it was thought that it was a moon to, I believe it's Uranus. It's been called a dwarf planet, partly because of its size. It is a very small planet, and at one point was more than likely an asteroid that got sucked into the gravitational pull of our solar system. So there's a couple really factual things about Scorpio and Pluto together. But what this retrograde is about is it's about transformation. Anytime Pluto goes retrograde, which it does once a year, and will be from April 27th until October 6th, 2021, it wants us to transform, it wants us to release what no longer serves. And most affected signs, so check your birth chart. This goes for sun, moon, rising, and your Pluto signs, which we don't really necessarily feel the Pluto retrograde as horribly as, say, Mercury, partly due to the fact that it is so far away in our solar system that its effects can be softer unless you are I'm looking at my notes here, belonging to the sign of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Scorpio, Capricorn. So please check your sun, moon, rising, Pluto signs, because if any of those signs that I just listed off, if you have those, you may be feeling this retrograde a little bit extra than somebody who does not have any of those placements in their birth chart. Now you can find your birth chart online for free with a number of websites. Me personally, I found the one that is the most accurate is Cafe Astrology. You do have to know your time of birth if you want your rising sign. And it is very important to know your rising sign, because I identify so much with my rising sign that it's almost scary. But yet I totally embody what my sun sign is. And how did these affect you personally? Your sun sign, just a quick thing before we get into the reading. Your sun sign is how you feel and you present yourself, but your rising sign is kind of your more innermost self and how people often see you. So that right there, got a lot of people walking down my street today, and a lot of people I've never seen before. This is really weird. So yeah, check those placements. And that was a quick astrology lesson. And now we are going to use the Thoth Tarot, and we're going to use this for the body of our reading. And then we're going to get into, I'm going to use the Lumen Oracle, beautiful cards, to pick out a few things that we can maybe work on for our shadow side, because this is a very good time to work on your shadow side. One, I'm going to just ask for our messages for this full moon in Scorpio and Pluto retrograde for the collective. Now that I've done that, I can start getting the cards while I talk. So here's a very good exercise for this time period. Use the megahertz sound of 396. It is a very releasing energy. If that one doesn't resonate with you, 432, I believe it is another good one. But my favorite one that I love is 528 megahertz. Anything higher than that is too high pitched. Anything lower than that, it makes me grumpy. I don't know. So check out the different sounds for yourself and see what resonates. But 396 is the one that is suggested. And while we talk, one exercise that you can do is, while listening to the 396 megahertz sound, is to sit and just listen to your breath and meditate. Get into your meditative state, whatever it is, however it is that you get into that. Focus on your breath for about 8 to 15 minutes. Whatever suits you or you feel is best. You may not need to have that much time. You can use less time if that fits, if you really feel that. Okay, this is the death card. Just popped out. Death card. That's the card of Scorpio. All right. Woo. I am going to ask the universe a question, which is funny because the universe card did come out. We've got a lot of major arcana. I'm going to keep the death card out for a little bit, and we're going to ask some questions afterwards about it. So let's get into the body of the reading. Anyway, to finish off this meditative state thing that you can do, get into your meditative state, and once you're kind of in tune with yourself, have a pen and paper ready, and ask yourself, what are things that I don't like about myself or that I do that I really should look at changing? Write it all down. See if you can get 8. If you get 8, great. If you get more, then you get more. But 8 is the magic number. And then really take time to journal it out. Listen to the megahertz sound during the time. Journal it out. Do the why. Why? Why do I behave this way? Why do I feel this way? And forgive yourself at the end of it. Journal it all out and then burn it. Rip it. Burn it. That is a good way to release. Cleanse yourself with whatever it is, smokes, sage, incense, lavender, whatever herbs or items that you normally use in your meditation or cleansing practices. You can use a misting spray of dissolved sea salt. So those are all a few things that you can do. And then once you've done that, release it, cleanse yourself, go back into that meditative state, really dig in deep, and find 8 things that you like about yourself, that you love about yourself, things that you do, attributes that you have, skills that you have. Write down 8 of those and keep that. Keep that with you. That is some of the shadow work things that I have found, and I love the idea. Now, the digging into the things that you don't really like about yourself or things that you do that maybe you want to change, that's really tough work. That's hard, really difficult, really hard stuff to do. So we are going to jump right into this. We have some interesting cards here. We start off with the last card of the major arcana, and that is the universe. We have the universe. This is the end of a cycle. It's a happy ending. It is, a cycle is complete, and we can rejoice in what it is that we are feeling, that we are doing. We are looking forward to a new beginning, the new start. We have to have this old one end, and however it has to end, let it end. That could be part of your exercise that you do, is what has to end in my life? What do I have to put a stop to? What are things that I am ready to let go finally? Like, it's final. This is it. This is where the death card comes in as well. The death card talks about the death of a cycle. It is the end of a cycle. We are in that rebirth. That is completely what the full moon in Scorpio and Pluto retrograde want us to do together. And it's giving us, it's not just giving us a little bit of oomph, it's giving us a huge kick in the ass. It's not nudging us gently to take that step. And those new steps, we're not taking baby steps. This is a two-handed shove off a cliff. This is your transformation. If you want it, do it. This is it right now. Particularly with the universe card, and we have the death card, and we are going to dig into that in a moment. Up next, we have 8 of Pentacles. Now, 8 of Pentacles is work. It's very hard work, but it's getting results. This is when we start to feel and see results. We've been working so hard. Here is the 7 of Wands. This card talks about, this one states valor, but it's being defensive. And it's maybe time to let those defenses down, bring them down a notch, maybe not be so tough. And that scorpion ready to sting everybody with its stinger. It is time to open up, drop your defenses. I mean, keep the ones that obviously serve you well. If you're out in public, keep an eye on what your surroundings are. I mean, that's just natural safety. So don't drop those defenses, but drop some of those walls that you've maybe put up that are keeping you from healing and from feeling. Up next, we have Major Arcana card, the Magus, or otherwise known as the Magician. This is us creating and shaping our future. We have the skills, we have the tools to shape how we want our lives to look. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which is a movement card. It also is card number 10. And 10s are the end of a cycle as well. So things are starting to move, and they're moving in your favor. If you do the hard work, you put that work in to creating this transformation, what this new cycle, again, the wheels and tarot talk about cycles. We're starting this new cycle. We're doing this new. It's fresh. It's a lot of hard work, but we're going to be seeing the results. We just kind of have to soften our edge a little bit. Things are going to start moving in our favor because this card came out in the upright. And yes, these are actually little cards. It's not just the camera. And the final card that we got, Prince of Wands. This is otherwise known as the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands, he can stir up some drama. He's a bit of a drama queen, not gonna lie. He likes to come riding in and stir everything up and leave a mess for usually the Prince of Swords or the Knight of Swords to come in and clean up. But there is positive attributes to the Prince of Wands. He is kind of hardworking. He's got that business mentality, that very sharp business mentality. Very creative. There's a lot of passion as well as drive when it starts coming up to like the knight and the page and the prince, or the prince and the king and queen of wands. There's drive in here. There's passion. So this is very much also driving forward. He's got his chariot, and that's no mistake. The chariot is also a movement card forward. He's in his chariot. He's telling the lion to go instead of trying to hold it back. So this is your chance. If you're wanting to make a big move, a big change, this is it. I can't tell you how much more for signs and synchronicities that you want. You've got the full moon in Scorpio telling you, release all the shit that no longer serves you, that is weighing you down, that is holding you back. You've been holding yourself back from this movement forward. So now it's time to release it, let it go, let this transformation happen, and do the work. You're going to see the results as the cycle closes. If you don't, you're going to stay where you're at. So we're going to talk about the death card here. The death card, it's not necessarily death of a person or a soul. It is the death of a cycle. And what happens after death is the rebirth. This is the entire Pluto going retrograde right now, particularly in the sign of Scorpio. The death card, major arcana, card of Scorpio. So let's dig into this death card. Tell me more about this death card, please. What is it that we need to have ending, letting go, or anything else you can tell us about that? Now, the Thoth Tarot, it's based off of Egyptian ideals, principles, has a lot of Egyptian imagery in it. I find that this deck almost scares me because if you want the truth, it's going to tell you the truth, and it's got some stark imagery in it as well. So let's see what this death card. All right. That's more than just a simple jumper. There's a few cards here. So we've got on the bottom of the deck the High Priestess, which is talking about spirituality. Oh, I can't speak today. There's a lot of intuition and possibly secrets, which secrets go very well with defensive behavior, things that we need to release, as well as the sign of Scorpio likes to keep things really deep. And the High Priestess, which is the bottom of the deck, influence on what it is we need to release. So things that we maybe have been keeping secret, whether it is about ourselves or just a secret in general, good time to be releasing those, letting them go. Interesting combination here. Okay. I'm going to get into this interesting combination in a second. So this death card, what is it that we need to let go? Five of Wands, conflict. This is conflict. We've got conflict within ourselves. What is it that we are conflicted about? Well, we've got the Ten of Cups here. We're conflicted about whether we deserve to have this Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is more than just being satisfied. This is all of your cups being fulfilled, coming true. This is good stuff coming in that you want, but you're conflicted about it. Why are we conflicted? Maybe we're being too stubborn and independent with the Nine of Pentacles here. This card talks about independence, freedom, financial freedom, particularly. Now, these two, the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, this is what we want. This is what the rebirth is that we want. We want to be independent, financially independent. We want our wishes and dreams coming true. We want our cups being full and overflowing, but we're conflicted. And where did I just put the cards? They're there. We are feeling very conflicted about, do we deserve it? Can we have it? Many people have been told throughout their lives by people within their inner circle that has shaped their lives up until now that you can't have that. You can't do it that way. You can't want it that way. But you can. You can want specific things. You can want financial independence. You can want financial security. You can want that and to be loved and to be happy. You can have that. But we've got the Devil energy, card of Capricorn, major arcana. We have to let all of these negative things go. The Devil card talks about things like addiction, So if you've got all this inner conflict and you've been turning to substances to help ease yourself or ease that inner conflict, this is a great time to break those habits, get out of it, get out of that. I can't have it. I've been told all of my life that I'm not good enough and I don't deserve it. Well, you know what? Time to break that. And that is something that you need to release with this Pluto retrograde Scorpio full moon energy. We are going to be feeling this energy for another few days because of the fact that this is a super moon. So release all of those negative things, those negative thought patterns, those negative behaviors. Write down those negative behaviors. If you are drinking to an excess, then especially if it is to help deal or help cope, release that. That is something on your 8 things that you want to release from yourself that is negative, that you maybe don't like about yourself. And it is going to take a lot of commitment and hard work with the Hierophant. The Hierophant card, very committed, loves routine. So get yourself into a better routine and be dedicated to it, be committed to it. Now, the whole interesting couples here, both of these cards are very spiritual. This is the High Priestess and the Hierophant. One is masculine energy that likes hard work. The other one is more spiritual and more feminine. This is the masculine, this is the feminine. They are the counterparts to each other, like the Emperor and the Empress and the kings and queens of the deck. One is more earth-based, as the Hierophant is the card of Taurus. The Priestess is the card of, I believe, Pisces. So it's watery energy, it's more shadowy and secretive. Whereas the Hierophant doesn't put up with that garbage. He wants commitment and routine. He doesn't like surprises or secrets. So this is a great time to be letting all that stuff go. Now, the negative, again, is the secrets. This is stuff that you want to release, you want to let go. But be committed, and start thinking that, yes, you can have it. And yes, you do deserve it. So that is the tarot part of this reading. Now, we're going to jump into the Lumen Oracles and let's see if they have anything else about ideas of things that we can help us through this full moon in Scorpio and Pluto retrograde time. Maybe it's things we need to release. Maybe it's things that we can help call in. There are a lot of beautiful cards. I mean, this is a beautiful deck to begin with. This is the Lumen Threads of Fate Lumen Edition Oracle. There's the box. And they do have a tarot equivalent, the Threads of Fate Weaver Tarot. And the Weaver Tarot part of this duo is very gender neutral, and it has a lot of imagery in the cards, not only in the background, but in the actual body of the card itself. And like I said, it's gender neutral, so there are no kings and queens in this deck, which if you guys are gender neutral, then you may find yourself being drawn into this deck, these 2 decks in particular. All right, let's see if there's anything else. We've got 2 cards, which are hilarious. And I am going to check with the book because the book does have some very interesting attributes and extras that go along with the cards. Oh, I cannot make this stuff up, you guys. Bottom of the deck, death card. Even in the Oracle, this one has, I'm trying to find the right spot so you can see the whole card without it being blocked out by the light. Death card, that's the bottom of the deck. Surrender. Surrender what it is that you want to let go and let the universe transmute it. Okay, we're gonna get into a little bit of this. Okay, The Share Wisdom card, this reminds me of the High Priestess right off the bat. So share your wisdom, do the soul work, because that's another one that's here on the bottom. Soul work, be that busy bee, especially over the next few days. Surrender things to the universe. The universe, otherwise known as the World card. And the World card in the Thoth Tarot is the universe. So it's time to transmute and let things go. Let this cycle die. Surrender all those negative things that you want to release. Let the universe take it. Let the universe transmute it. These two cards together, we have the Creator and the Alchemist. Again, I'm trying to find spots here so you can see them both without the light shining too much on them. The Alchemist, the Creator, the Alchemist, otherwise known together as the Magician, whom we saw in the tarot part of this reading. You can use a little bit of alchemy if you are into those kind of beliefs and practices. I don't judge anybody. I have a very wide variety of things that I believe and practice. So the Alchemist, maybe use a little bit of alchemy. That is something as simple as burning your herbs in order to cleanse. The Alchemist also believes, prays to the universe. It's nothing it's not specific to a particular religion or anything like that, but use your alchemy to write things down, burn those herbs, make your potions, put those crystals out, do your divination, I just dropped the card, do your tarot cards. That is all part of the Alchemist. I think the Alchemist is done because that was the one that literally just jumped out of my head. But the Creator is also part of the Magician energy. And we create our future. So let this old negative stuff die. Let it go. Let the universe transmute it. Work on creating your future. You can use alchemy doing that. But we've also got the help of the Wilding. I really want you guys to see these cards. They're gorgeous. The Wilding. Maybe let yourself be a little bit wild. Play. Take time to play. Go outside. Be wild. Go play outside. In nature. I'm surprised the in nature card didn't come out. But the Wilding is letting yourself go, cutting yourself free. There's the swords. Let yourself be a little bit wild. If you want to go howl at the moon, there you go. There's your alchemy. Be wild, be free. You can howl at the moon from your living room, or you can go to an open space. I had a very interesting meeting with a group of women whom I did not know any of them, and I did not know that they do this. So I'm going to keep a lot of this private because I don't want people to interfere with what they do. But I was out taking pictures of the full moon, and this group of women went and did some practices that are very special and sacred to them. And part of what they did was howling at the moon. Now, like I said, I went out to take pictures of the moonrise, and this group just happened to be there, and they let me tag along. And it was very interesting. I loved it. It was perfect. It was beautiful. Unfortunately, there was many soggy feet, as this was not this full moon. It was a previous moon, and people were getting cold, and I think they cut it a little bit short due to that. I do believe they have a lot more to their practice that they do, but that is part of the Wilding. Is they were out in a space, and they literally howled at the moon. And you know what? They told me that I had to join in on that part. And it was amazing. It felt so great. And that was a little bit of play. It was an accidental play, but it was Wilding. And how do we do this? Is we take a little bit of a risk. If you've got something that has been weighing on your mind, there's a decision you've been thinking about that you've been wanting to know the answer to, you might have to take a risk and just go for it. I am going to look that one up because I know with this deck there is a lot more to it. Let me find. Fire energy, that's not a surprise. So taking a risk, fire energy, going forward. There's your Prince of Wands. Is taking a risk. Risks are personal to each one of us. To some, climbing a mountain does not feel risky. But to others, having a conversation with a stranger is risky. I'm a Gemini. I talk to everybody. So that part definitely is not, but climbing a mountain would be a huge risk. And we may be feeling like we're climbing a mountain to get through this, but take a risk. Comfort kills growth. What has been calling you that you've been afraid to do? It is important that we regularly do things that push the envelope, that make us feel nervous, apprehensive, and uneasy, with the exception of physical danger. Remember that dropping your defenses, but making sure you're aware of your surroundings when you're out in public? That kind of deal. This card is asking you to take the plunge and do things that intimidate you. Trust that the net will appear after you jump. This is very much the Fool card in the tarot equivalent. The Fool likes to just take what belongs to him and takes a leap of faith into something new. So this is part of your rebirth, is taking a risk. Part of your letting go is taking a risk and letting it go. But take a risk once you get there into the rebirth. Now the mountain goat, as you can hopefully see, he can jump between ledges, scale steep mountainsides, and pull themselves up huge inclines with one hoof. They teach us that all challenges are relative and that risk often seems greater in our heads. We may even impress ourselves with how easy something is once we take the leap. Call upon the mountain goat when you need help, tapping into your bravery as you embrace risk. Now, these cards, some of them have some gems, crystals, stones, whatever it is that you want to call them, as well as plants. Now this one is, for the plant, is the stinging nettle. It is a plant of abundance of medicine. It is one of the most nourishing and healing plants there is. I'm just quickly reading it. Stinging nettle guides us out of the fog and into a life that we find invigorating. It teaches us that once we get past the initial discomfort, the risk can be incredibly nourishing. Now, you do not have to actually possess this. You can download a picture of it. You can print it off. You can just screenshot it and save it. And when you are doing these practices, whatever it is that you are going to do to help release, cleanse, you can use the stinging nettle imagery as a way to help guide you and use its influence that way. I am not a herbologist. I am not a botanist or anything like that. So I won't recommend trying to ingest or do anything else with these other than just having the imagery with you, because that is very helpful. Same goes with the crystals and gems. If you don't have them, or if they're really expensive, because some of them are, download a picture of it. You can use the energy of the image itself. And the stone here is fire agate, which helps restore a lust for our life. It is a volcanic stone, and it finds cracks and brings new life to them. If you have become worn and stuck in your routine, you can call upon this stone to literally fire yourself up and stimulate your body as you take on any challenges. I think that is an absolutely wonderful way to end this reading. I hope that you are staying safe out there. Enjoy the rebirth process um, of this Pluto retrograde and Scorpio full moon. And I will talk to you soon. And if you do like these videos, please subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell, because you never know when I'm going to come on and do something like this. I will talk to you soon.